Hey guys, how's it going? So this is the Razer Blade 18 with the Mercury White, and I got a lot of requests to do a video on this, so here we are. So I have made this my main laptop. I am selling off my Titan 18, and I've edited the last few videos with this Razer Blade 18. I've done all my gaming on it, etc. One issue though, this particular Mercury White version isn't available with the specs that I need. Unfortunately, editing video is very resource intensive, so I need a minimum of 64 gigabytes of RAM and I need as much storage as I can get. The only way to max out the Razer Blade 18 on Razer's website is to go with the black model, but I really wanted this Mercury White. So I had to buy this version and then just do the upgrades myself. And I never talk about upgrades in my videos because I really hate opening up laptops and getting in there. I mean, I do it if I need to, and I did it for this laptop, but now that that process is over, I'm just so happy. All right, so this is what you guys are mainly here for, is this Mercury White. Well, there's two things you're here for, the display and the Mercury White color. So let's start off with the color. I think it is substantially better than the black one. I mean, to each their own though. They're both really nice. But the thing is though, you're not going to see any fingerprints on this. I love the color of the natural aluminum, which is what this color is pretty much. And yeah, it's just really pretty. I like that I'm not dealing with that green logo anymore. This just looks more understated and more professional. I'm not going to go too much into the build and design because I've covered the Razer Blade 18 so many times, including a previous video I did on the Razer Blade 18 when that one was pretty detailed. So I'm going to link that at the end of the video and down below if you want to do see that after this one. Another thing I like about the Mercury White too is that they chose to make the keycaps black. There's been a lot of times where I've had white or silver laptops and the keycaps are also white and silver. And the problem with RGB is when it's on is you can't end up seeing the keycap. So I like the contrast so the RGB still pops through and I'm able to see the keys that I'm typing on. The glass trackpad is matching the aluminum, so really good attention to detail throughout. I will say though that I mean, as much as I love the way this laptop looks, Razer's not the king of design and build anymore. I mean, the competition is catching up really quickly. I had the Alienware M16, and that was a really high quality metal. And the ROG G14 and G16, those are all lookers now. And I will say that as much as I love this design, because of how minimal it is, it ages well. But honestly, this is the same design that they've had since the Razer Blade 17 when that debuted all those years ago. I mean, yeah, I know this is the 18-inch, but honestly, this design has only been like small updates throughout the years, but overall it's been the same. I think I'm getting a little tired of it. I think I'm ready to see what Razer can come up with in terms of their design, but overall, because of how understated this design is, it does stand the test of time, and this design does age very well. Still one of the best looking gaming laptops out there. Next, a lot of you guys are just interested in this display, so let's just talk about that. One thing I like about Razer is they are not trying to false advertise this in any way. It only goes up to 400 nits, but thankfully when I did measure it, I was able to get 500 nits, and that does make a big difference, the difference between 400 nits and 500 nits, so I'm really happy about that. Because there is no local dimming zones though, blacks do not look black, they look like a dark gray, but for this type of panel, this is one of the best measured panels I've ever seen. The fact that you're able to get 500 nits and 0.32 blacks, that's pretty amazing. I mean, you would want the blacks to be 0. 0 means absolute black. But usually 500 nit screens, they would have a 0.42 or 0.45 black point. The higher that number is, essentially the more gray blacks look, where it doesn't look completely black like it would with an OLED or with a mini LED. So that is potentially a con. But in terms of color gamut, I would say you're getting about what you can probably expect. I was hoping for a higher Adobe RGB coverage though. 89% is okay, but I would like to see in the mid 90s, especially since this is not a cheap laptop. This is on the premium end, so I feel like we should be able to get that. Of course, you're getting 100% of DCI-P3 and only 75% of Rec 2020. I would have liked to see a little bit more on this. So why would you get this over the mini LED panel? Honestly, I don't have a good reason for it. I feel like most people should go with the mini LED panel because you're getting QHD, which is plenty sharp. You're also getting 300 hertz and you're getting HDR. This does not support HDR, this 4K 200 hertz screen. It does not support 10-bit either. And I have seen a few comments of people being upset about that. I'm not personally. The only time I want to see 10-bit is if I'm running in HDR. And honestly, if you're not getting any type of backlight technology like mini LED, or if it's OLED, then it's almost not even worthwhile having HDR. You're not really getting the benefits. So for me, I'm personally okay with it. But if you're unhappy with that decision, I mean, I don't blame you. Just go with the QHD panel. And the thing is, if you need 4K, then I would still say that the Titan 18 has a much better 4K panel. But one reason why I went with this, though, is I'm starting to realize that I am sensitive to PWM flicker, and I believe everyone is sensitive to it in some shape or form, some more sensitive than others. But what I can say about this is this has absolutely no flicker. The mini LED panel did not really have much flicker either once you're at 50% or higher. Once you got to lower brightness levels, then it started to introduce some flicker. And another thing I don't like about this panel is it has a pretty aggressive matte coating on it to where it does kind of take away some of that sharpness. Not too much to where I want to return it. I've had experiences with really bad matte coatings to where I hated the display. This is kind of on the borderline. But man, once you get over all that though, and you start looking at this in 4K, plus you're able to do 200 hertz, it's fantastic. Input latency is really low on this Razer Blade 18 like it has been for all the other Razer Blades that I've tested this year. And the response time is incredibly impressive on this 4K 200 hertz panel. I think that's where all the technology went into. So what else? In my journey to find my perfect device that I'm going to game with, watch movies with, and edit photos and videos with, I did find that I'm the most productive when I have a larger screen. This 18-inch screen allows me to do that. I'm not traveling like how I used to, so I'm not too concerned about it. But the fact is, this is the smallest and lightest 18-inch laptop where you're not sacrificing performance. You're still getting the 175 watts of TGP, though the total TDP isn't as high as some of the other ones. This only does 213 watts total between the CPU and GPU. The Titan could do 175. But regardless, when I did all my benchmarks, as I showed in that previous video, it didn't really make much of a difference. So I'm happy with that. And the fact that this fits in a backpack easily, and on top of that, this is less than 6.5 pounds. So Razer did a great job with giving us not only the performance, but as portable as they can make this 18-inch laptop. So yeah, overall, this is it. This is going to be my laptop for the rest of the year. And I don't know. Hopefully there's something worthwhile upgrading to next year. But I just want to make a quick video talking about my experience with it. Honestly, a lot of this video was made because of all the comments I've been getting. So keep them coming. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.